got a little tough right now. We're trying to finish that construction for the Caruso development. So it's like very busy. How are you doing? How's everything?
Pretty good.
Good?
Yeah.
You busy? Yeah? They asked us to postpone the meeting, but unfortunately we run out of Fridays because 2 Fridays I'm gonna have to go out of town and I won't be able to finish, and I'd like to finish this before Thanksgiving. So thanks for being here. Probably we're less than last time because a lot of people are assisting to what's supposed to be a mandatory thing with our legal counsel in Beverly Hills. I don't know if you're aware of it. That will be recorded too, and I recommend you guys to see that. It's important how not to get in trouble, and he's invited a couple of attorneys in there to see how what are the most common mistakes that we make and what are the things that we should stay away from it. So I recommend you going and checking that out. So as for this class today, we're going to cover chapter 5 and 6. And I'm assuming that everybody read chapter 5 and 6, right? Who's been talking with the accountability partners? Okay, not bad. Not bad. It's hard, right? Hard to pick up the phone and talk for like 2 minutes. Hi, how are you? Welcome. All right, so let's go straight into it. We are in chapter specialized knowledge. Who wants to talk a little bit about it? Who wants to tell me what are the insights of this chapter? It's not a long chapter, it's a short chapter. The next chapter is a super fun one. So who read it, and obviously who wants to share a little bit of their opinion on this specialized knowledge chapter? No one yet? All right.
Yeah, what I liked about it and what I got out of it in a general sense is that to really hone in on something specific instead of trying to spread yourself too thin, and really finding what you want to specialize in, and then also understanding what you don't know and having the resources to find that information.
That's it. It's that simple. And a lot of times on this career, on real estate, including myself, we have to do things in the beginning until we get ourselves going. Nothing wrong with that, right? Waiting tables while you do that, Ubering while you do that, whatever it is that we all need to do to generate some sort of income until the real estate career starts to take off and you have a constant, amount of deals in escrow and listings that generates, a constant revenue for yourself. You gotta find a way how to do it. But once you get to a point where you at least are making enough money to survive, pay your bills, and live, it's really important that you keep your focus into the real estate, because for many years since I started till right now, I've been talking to people that get exposed to different clients, because this is what we do, right? We get exposed to clients that have great business opportunities, we get exposed to clients that have great ideas, we talk to people that let's do this, let's do that. We talk to people that say, oh, you can be selling this product while you're doing that, it's gonna set it up, as soon as you set it up, you're gonna start making extra cash, all that kind of stuff. And the problem with that is that takes your attention from that into doing too many things. And you will never be great at too many things. You need to be, doing one thing. So I always say, if you're gonna do real estate and you wanna really make it in real estate, that's all you need to do. You cannot be doing other things, right? Nothing. Yes, but I'm selling this product in the meantime. It doesn't take a lot of my time. It might not take a lot of your time, take some of your time, but it takes your energy and your focus into what you should be thinking every day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner is real estate, real estate, real estate, right? So, and for the things that we don't know how to do, and another issue that we come across all the time is like, some client who's selling a house. The guy is very wealthy and has commercial real estate. All of a sudden the guy says, you do commercial. And we don't want to be like, no, I don't. Yeah, I do. Okay, can you find me a multi-unit, I'm in a 1031 exchange, blah, blah, blah. Good luck, right? It's not that easy to go and find the greatest deal. What most likely is going to happen, he's going to be talking to other people that actually do commercial, and he's going to find that through other people, you're going to be disappointed, you're going to be wasted your time, and you're going to look like a fool. So what do? You refer it to a great commercial agent. You pick up the phone, and you refer it to that person that specializes in commercial, you negotiate a 25-30% referral fee, and you're done. Go and sell homes. Let that person deal with that thing that they specialize in. Now, how you present it is a whole different thing. We have people in our office that actually do commercial. You all know them, right? Alex, John Schweier. I mean, there's a number of people that are doing commercial. And so perhaps you don't refer it to someone and you say, yeah, we do commercial, but I'm not in charge of that department. Let me put you in touch with them. I'll be on top of it. I'm going to make sure that everything goes well. So that way, you can make it look like you are part of the team. You can make it look like you're taking care of them. But then you let the specialist on that do it. Like the examples that they gave of Henry Ford, for example, right? He didn't need to know everything. He didn't need to know exactly how everything works, how you build a name. He didn't know any of that. He just knew that if he hired the best of the best people at every of those individual tasks or works, he'll be the best, right? You all read the example when he got taken to court, right? That's how ridiculous the world was before. He got taken to court because people said that he didn't have enough education to do what he was doing. So what happened when he went to court? He explained it. He said that.
He said that he doesn't need to know everything. He needs to surround himself with people that do know everything.
Exactly. And that's how it works, you know. He used to say all the time, I have this big dashboard in my desk, and every time I need something, I just press a button and it gets done by the best at that area. So that's kind of like what we need to do too, you know. We need to like surround ourselves with who is the best of the best, right? If someone calls me that they have a listing in the valley, I'm gonna call Guy, right? Guy's gonna go and tell the park, or any of the specialists on the valley. And I just say that because you walk in here, so.
That was the only reason.
No, that's not what it is. But the point is like, we, I think, are the only company that were able to do that, to work in collaboration. I mean, I think that it's now been 7 years that we've been talking about it, and before was nice to talk about it, and it was a great idea, but now it's proven that actually works, and that's what we do. So why don't you team up with people? Why don't you call someone and just share it and get it, as opposed to try to gamble it and don't get it, or try to pretend that you know and don't get it. I mean, there's been examples in the company where, you know, the client went somewhere else because the person couldn't service the way they needed to service, and didn't want to team up with someone. So what a bummer, you know? You made 0 instead of 50 out of the dollar. So this chapter talks about that mainly. It's about knowing what you know, knowing what you don't know, and specialize on something, on one thing. So when I started in this business, well, not really when I started, about 2 years or 3 years into the business, I decided that for me, picking a farm that I've had from this street to this street and to this street, which is what they normally, you know, they teach in the beginning, and going and, you know, door knocking back and forth all the time, that same neighborhood, so people see your face, which by the way works, okay? And then mailing to that same place, seeing open houses in that same area and doing that, it works because you're there all the time and people see your face, see your mailers, you knock on the door, you sell a house, you send in invitations, all that works. But for me, it wasn't working. For whatever reason it was, that was not something that worked for me. I did it for a year and it didn't work for me.
Did you like it? Did you like doing that?
No, I hated it. I picked the wrong neighborhood. I picked Miracle Mile and I was door knocking in all Orthodox Jewish people.
See, this is what I see.
Santiago, wham! I was like, what?
Did you put your avatar?
No. So anyway, so that actually happened. It's not a joke, and it was just that it wasn't for me. Then I moved into Los Feliz, and I was living in the hills, and I tried to do that up and down the hills, and I got in very, very good shape, but I didn't get any business out of that. And then one day I got a listing in Beverly Hills. I was sending letters of a new construction, which at the time was the most expensive house in the 500 block of Beverly Hills. Ed Fitz recently just resold that same house. It was 507 North Beverly Drive, right? I remember I got a call from the guy because I had a client from out of town that I was looking only in the flats. He was from Europe. And you cannot door knock in Beverly Hills. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but if you do, you might get arrested. So I sent letters to all the houses in there, and this guy picked up the phone, called me, I met with him, and he said, look, this is my dream house. I'm moving in 2 months. But if you give me this number, you can show it. So I brought the client, didn't work out. Thank you so much for the opportunity. The guy, no problem. 3 months later, the guy's not moving into the house. He gives me a call and he says, you know what, I like you, you're honest, you know, we changed plans in my family, we want to sell the house. So I listed that house, was I think at the time 10.9 million. And we opened escrow 3 months later, this was in 2008. And the day, 2 days before closing escrow, after all contingencies were removed, the whole thing exploded in October 2008. So 2 days later, I get a call from the buyer, a guy from Spain, and he says, you know what, I want to cancel the deal. I'm like, what do you mean? You're gonna lose 400 and change, you know? He's like, I don't care, just cancel the deal, tell the seller to keep my money. So as you know, we can keep half or fight for half of that, right? When someone removes contingencies and the 3% is being going hard into escrow, we as agents generated that, we have a right to fight to try to get some of that, as much as half of that. So at that point, you know, the whole market collapsed. It was like horror, right? For those that were on the market, I remember you were.
Yes.
And then it was like, okay, what do I do now? I mean, I can really use those 200 grand, but I will lose the listing if I go and fight against the client. So I talked to the client, I gave him the bad news. He knew it 2 days later that, you know, the guy probably has some sort of intel. The guy ended up actually not losing $400,000. He ended up saving over $3 million because he sold the house for 7-8, right? So I told my client that he can keep all the 3%, that we need to quickly adjust the price and get it sold before, because we don't know how things were gonna be, and things were getting really bad and people were getting really scared. So thank God he listened. And I also told him, I said, look, why don't you just change your plans back and move into the house, because you're gonna be selling for a lot less than what we thought we can sell it, than what we were in escrow. We were in escrow at, I think, 10.2 or 10.3, which was a huge number for it. 14,000 lot in the 500 block of Beverly Hills. Still until today, I think if you sell something for another, would be crazy, right? So he said, no, I have to sell. So we adjusted the price, we sold it fairly quick, and I got to keep the listing. He thought that was very nice of him not to try to fight for that amount of money, and that earned me the confidence to give me the listing back and keep it until I sold it. So we sold it, then I said, you know what, I really like this new construction situation. You know, it was nice, it was clean. I really enjoy working on new construction, so I started to try to attract and think about new construction. So I started to meet builders, I started to go to Las Vegas to like building, you know, they have this
Big convention show.
yes, they have these big shows in Las Vegas, so I said I need to go to these shows and I'm going to be meeting all these people that are building houses. So I went in there, I met a bunch of builders in there, and all of a sudden I became the new construction specialist for Saturdays here in the corner. And that's why now probably 70% of my business is developers, because I decided to specialize on that. When I moved to Partners Trust, I remember they gave me the title of new construction division, head of the new construction division. So all that, when people were reading, were like, this is the new construction guy. He understands new construction, and I do, and now I do spec homes because I really enjoy that portion of it. Now that's what worked for me. Doesn't mean that that's where you only go now run and start talking to builders. You can, but you need to find your niche. You need to find what it is that you like, where you want to be, and then just go and do that, and you need to stick to it. You know, it's just like advertising. It's like, you don't buy one full page ad in color in the LA Times today or this weekend, and then you don't do anything for 3 months. If you're gonna advertise, it needs to be for a long period of time. Those things only work when you're constantly there. Now, I'm not telling you to spend full page ads every weekend, but maybe you do a color box every weekend. Just put your name every time there, so people read, and it's by repetition. People are reading, and I'm reading, it's like, oh, this guy again, oh, this guy again, oh, this guy. The other thing is signs. Put your signs out there, right? Get people to get used to your name. See open houses. You need to be there. People need to see you, right? I don't need to see open houses right now, honestly. But I like seeing open houses because a lot of people go to the open houses looking for me. And if you're not there, people get disappointed. If you're not there, the client says, oh, you see, he doesn't even do his own open houses. So it's important that you're there because they want you. You know, this is a personal business. So I see open houses on Sundays, right? I don't see it every Sunday like I used to do, but I see it 2 Sundays out of the month. So one Sunday I break, another Sunday, and then I take a break. So that's how I apply the specialized knowledge myself. Anyone else has something to say about this so far?
When I start your open houses, the ladies that come in are not very happy.
They see the sign, like,
The worst ones, yeah.
Why the ladies? Am I getting in trouble with my wife or something?
The men are happy to see me.
Yeah. So, no one else? I think someone will come. Alex.
No, I was just gonna say that, I mean, you work with Steve
I
Scholl.
call you Alex.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say
That's
Klaus.
your sister.
No, I was gonna say that, reading this chapter and the story you just told reminded me of, working with Steve Scholl. That the very interesting thing I thought, working with him, is the first 3 months that we worked together, he said, okay, I'm gonna give you these 5 things to do. And do them every week, and then at the end of 3 months, we'll sit down, we'll chat, we'll see what works, what doesn't work, what you're good at, what you're not good at. And I thought that was very interesting that, at the end of the 3 months, he said, okay, don't bother to do these 3 things, just focus on the 1 or 2 things that you're really good at, because there's not enough time in the day to be focusing on everything. And also that's why if you get to a certain point, you have a team. So I thought that was really, really interesting, and I still struggle.
We all do.
Yeah, your mind's running in a million different directions a lot, but I think it's very interesting to focus on what you're good at and don't spend your time doing what you're not good at, because it's just a waste of time. It's not going to make you money.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that can apply also to dealing with too many people. Too many people that that wasting your time. If you're working with someone for over 2 years and the guy is full of shit, then just might as well don't work with that person and open that slot for someone else. It might be a real person. If you're dealing with someone that you're in a place where you can actually get rid of someone that has been difficult, and every time, if someone calls you and you look at their name and their phone and your stomach cringes, you should not be working with that person. Because he only brings bad energy to you. It just reminds you all the bad shit that you feel when you deal with that person, and how much commission took from you the last deal, and what's coming, already, and it's like, I don't want to deal with this person. So you'll get to get rid of those people, and you'll see how other things open up really, really quickly. I gave this example many times ago when I was at Hardest Trust for that brief period of time, and in the beginning you just take everything, right? You need to sell a lot of business, right? So from suddenly I grow my big portfolio of clients, good clients, bad clients, shitty clients, everything that I had, and I had them in a list. Like I used to have a list in my office, like my listings right now with the names of all the clients. So every day when I go in there, I can look at them and be like, I need to call this guy, I need to call this guy, I need to call this guy, or this guy needs to do this or that. And one day I went to the office and I was so sick of it, and I remember I had another assistant, and I said, give me a pen, and I went bye bye, and I crossed about half of that list, and it was such a release. And this was 2012 when I got rid of all these people. They were like just basically sucking my energy and putting me in a very bad place. And when I took that part of it out of my life, it was crazy how just all the things opened it up. I got to meet a lot nicer people that did the opposite, they put me in a good place, they made me enjoy my job better, and my business continued to grow and grow and grow. I didn't get stuck in there, Those are emotional vampires. Have you read the book? No? You haven't read the book, Emotional Vampires? Oh, that book's great. That explains to you that you meet people in your life that they just suck your energy and they put you in a bad place. and back with your emotions. So you don't need that kind of people, and it teaches you how to do that. Yes.
I remember when I called you because I was in escrow in Brentwood Park,
Yes.
and I was like, call Santiago, he knows everything over here. And it just so happens my client was an old client of yours, Omid. He was that guy. Like,
One of those.
sucked everything out of me, cutting commission. I mean, that was like the longest, craziest, worst escrow I've ever been in. And you're like, there will be a day you can fire these people and not have to like take the deals. But I think that a day, unfortunately for him, it was like one and done, just because it does. It's like you have to like take care of yourself and your mental health, because if not, like it makes you burn out. I was so hyper focused on that deal, I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah. I remember.
But it was funny. You told me you're like, oh, this guy.
Yeah. Omid was in the list.
Watch out for
In
Omid.
the list that I crossed. He was one of the guys part of that group.
I know, and I got stuck with him. Lucky me.
Him and his partners.
Yes.
All
The
kind of the
worst.
same thing. So that book's cool. You might want to read that book, check it out. Helps you how to deal with people like that.
Emotional connection. You're getting it.
Knowledge has no value except that which can be gained from its application towards some worthy end. Right? When I tell you read these books, I think I give you through the years a number of really good books that I'm happy to, if anyone comes to me and asks me for recommendations for books, don't just read them to say, oh yeah, I read it. Like, if you read and you learn something out of it, doesn't mean you need to know everything. I'm still reading this book and I'm learning stuff that I haven't caught last year or the year before. That's why we do it again and again. We change, right? There's a lot of stuff in here that I wasn't ready to get it 3 years ago, but now I'm ready. So now I'm reading and like, oh, I didn't catch this part. This is really cool. So when you go to seminars, right? You all know that I'm big on the Tony Robbins seminars, right? Or when you go to any kind of like motivation seminar or training, or even this thing that we're doing right now here, right? You don't need to know everything. You don't need to understand every single thing. If you go to one of those Tom Ferry events and you get one or two things that add value, that's all you need, right? It's better than nothing. So if you go there and you get one or two things that really, really resonate with yourself, and you say, I'm gonna do that, and that feels good, and that's something that I really think is a cool thing to do, that's all you need. Don't try to learn the whole thing and be an expert PhD on that one seminar or that book. Just grab something that you learn that, and then use it. Because knowing, not using it, it's worth nothing, right? I mean, sometimes you meet people that are really smart people, they go to university, they do master degree and they do PhD, and then they do 3 more master degrees and they do 4 more PhDs, and they're like very smart, they know everything, and they're broke. Why? Because they're not using it. They know all this shit, but they don't do stuff. You need to take action, right? So that's another point that's important with this. You know, a few exercises, I don't know, you look at it in the book that help you with that, you know. I will do the exercises. It's not very long, it's a very short chapter. Any questions regarding that so far? Any comments? Any personal experiences of what we just discussed that you can share? Sharing is good. A lot of people connect with other people's stories. They don't have to be all my stories. We all have them. All right. Next chapter. One of my favorites. Imagination. I was reading to my kids last night. They have now the secret for kids, for little kids. You know, the secret, whatever. So they have a book for kids. So I gave it to Cole, which is my youngest one, and it's more like illustrations, and it's like a cute story about a little kid that loses his stuffed animal, and he's very sad, and his grandpa comes and tells him that he can really imagine that he's with him again and sharing time with him and all these things, and he can feel that, you know, what's the name, Raspberry, I think was the name, the bunny, that the bunny maybe is gonna show up because it's gotta be somewhere in the house. It was lost somewhere in the house and the kid couldn't find it in the house. So it was like, there. And so that's the kind of introduction to this, you know, so the kids start playing with the imaginary rabbit that he lost. And, you know, then he finds the rabbit under the bed. And he's happy, so he feels like, oh, he's right. If I think about something and I get those feelings into like me being there already, the universe is going to manifest it for me. So that's kind of like the introduction. And then after that, there's another one that I gave to my older son, which is called The Secret for Teens. My son is not in the teens yet, but I'd rather be ahead of the curve than behind. He's 11, and I think that 11-year-olds are different than what we were when we were 11 right now. They know a lot of stuff that we don't know, and say things that are kind of scary sometimes, or are exposed to stuff that's kind of scary for those that have kids. So I said, you know what, it won't hurt. Maybe he doesn't get a lot of this book, but I want him to start reading it. So I was reading it for both of them last night, and they love, obviously, the imagination part of it, because they're kids, right? I mean, the younger that we are, the more simple we are, the less noise that we had in our life, the less rejection that we had in our life, the less ideas that people put in our heads. So the younger that we are, it's actually the easiest. And I remember when I was like learning about this stuff, or when I was watching the movie The Secret, and I was crying, saying, why no one fucking told me about this before? I mean, like, why? I mean, why is it that they don't implement this way of thinking or these concepts in even high school? I mean, like, why don't you do that, you know? So the cute thing about me reading, actually we were reading the chapter Imagination on the teen book for both of them after dinner, was that they really were into it. Like, they really got it. There was not like there was not like that doubt that a lot of people are like, yeah, that's nice, but now let's be real, right? They were like really into it, and they were telling me what it is that they're gonna think about, and they were like super excited about it. So it's just cool to see that, because I never talked or said or done a class like this or anything for kids, right? And it's just amazing to see how innocent and how clean and pure they are, that they haven't been contaminated. For us, it's a lot more work, because we've been like, put a lot of shit in our heads, and now we need to undo all that shit and then start thinking that way, right? So for them, it's a lot easier. So I want to get my kids going earlier. So that's a cool thing. So who read this chapter? Who wants to share a little something, maybe?
On that note, Santiago, I really recommend for adults, but if you have kids too, to see the Winnie the Pooh movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Anyone?
Yeah, like for adults, my sister and I are, older, and we enjoyed it, but my older kids, my 19-year-old, had
Is
such
it called Christopher Robin's, the movie?
Yeah, had such an appreciation, and there's so much wisdom, and then I went out and bought them the Tao of Pooh and the Piglet, which we should all own those books and read them to ourselves and to our kids, but I really recommend that movie for us. It's amazing, it's magical, and it's exactly what you're talking about, imagination and simplifying things and bringing it back to imagination and dreams, and,
Yeah. You know, Einstein discovered that everything in the world is energy, right? That's just the way it is. That's how it works. Whether you believe it or not. We talked about gravity. You can try it if you want. I don't recommend it. It works. So it's the same thing. Everything. I mean, every cell, molecule, everything that is in everything, atoms have energy, right? So it's all energy. And now that energy vibrates at different levels, right? The trick is to have a vibration that will eventually attract the things that you want to attract, not the opposite. The problem and the biggest challenge is that because we've been wired in a certain way, we are constantly, or most of the time, vibrating in the wrong vibration. We are focusing on what we don't have as opposed to what we have, right? Mother Teresa used to say, don't invite me to a march against the war, invite me to a march for peace, pro-peace. Because if you marching against the war, you even by saying war, it already has a negative vibration. But if you do a march for peace, then it has a whole different feeling. And think about who that person was, Mother Teresa, what she was achieving in the world. All these knowledgeable, amazing teachers that come to Earth knew this stuff, right? You can name it, all of them. I mean, they kind of were born knowing that that's the way to do. And now we can just learn through that, right? So I think that if you use your imagination, you can train yourself to be in that state. You might not have that fancy car that you want. You might not have that significant other that you're looking for. You might not have the body that you want. You might not have the money in the bank account that you think that will make you happy. All those things, but if you can learn through imagination, through visualization, through all these things, how to stay in that state most of the time, what you're doing is you're vibrating that way as much as you can. You catch yourself, you go back, so what's gonna happen is the more you are feeling that way, the opportunities are gonna come your way that they're gonna match that. You're gonna get a call from someone that is gonna match that. You're gonna meet someone in the coffee shop that is gonna match that. You're gonna meet your significant other in a place that you never thought that you're gonna meet that person. Everything is gonna match because that's how it works. It starts redirecting everything for you to get what you feel most of the time. Not just what you think, it's what you think and what you feel, right? And it needs to have emotions. So the cool thing about this chapter is that it teaches you how you can use it, right? It gives you exercises on how to work with your imagination, right? And it's the way I look at it, and I remember learning this from The Secret, is picture the universe as your catalog, and you're gonna go shopping, and you have endless amount of money. Oh, I want that, oh, how cool would it to get that, and and just build things that you wanna have, feelings that you wanna feel, places where you wanna be, people that you wanna be surrounded with, and just find time in your day to just feel that you're there already, right? And Michelle Schwartz was asking me, it's like, so you're kind of faking it. It's like, no, you're not, because it's there, right? You just need to wait for it to show up. And if you don't believe it's there and you believe that you're faking it, then well, it's not real. But if you believe that it's there, 100%, you know that it's there and it's gonna show up, and you're just waiting here excited to know when it's gonna show up. And the when is gonna depend on how much faith you have and how strongly you feel about it. And you don't have one piece of doubt that that's gonna happen. That's what's gonna make it happen faster. So I will say just, why not? It's free, right? Instead of sit down and I know it's really hard because it's hard for me too. Instead of going to watch your favorite show, how will you use that hour to visualize something and get into it? And once you get a hang of it and you see a result, that's gonna become like, oh shit, I need to do more of that. And you're gonna want to spend more time there with your brain. So now we have two different we have the mind, right, that is sitting out here, that is thousands years old, that, as I told you, I think in the beginning, what it does is a survival mode, right? It's like fly, fight, or whatever it's called, what I remember. But when we react and make decisions emotionally, that normally doesn't lead you to good places. So you need to quiet the emotion, the chatter that tells you, oh, what an asshole of this or that, tell him to fuck off, or whatever it is that comes in here and all those voices. And you need to take a deep breath. That's why you need to do meditation and all that, so that this can think and make the proper decision of what to do. You want to make decisions with this, not with this. So when you learn the difference, you'll see huge changes. I mean, as simple as talking to people. If you're talking to a client and he's talking on the phone and everything inside you is telling you, oh, tell him this, this, and this. But if you just take a deep breath and say, okay, take the emotions out of it, and then what you're supposed to tell him is going to come to your mind, and you're going to tell him it's going to have a much more positive reaction than what you think that you should tell him. All right? So let's go to imagination. Who practices imagination? Who uses their imagination? Imagination is all there is, right? That's what, what's his name? Campbell said? Imagination is all there is. Joseph Campbell, right?
I was gonna say on Friday, actually, after we had our meeting last Friday, my girlfriend for her birthday did a sound bath on the beach, and that was all about like she told us to close our eyes and meditate, but also like create visions. And so the whole time I was thinking about actually what we had discussed that morning, and it was like real estate. It was like things I wanted to see, how I saw my future as like a mom and having a full career in the South Bay. And literally the next day I got a message on Instagram from this girl saying, I just listed my house like 7 days ago. we had like a falling out with this agent. Can you come meet with us? And
Wow.
I walked in, I'm like, yeah, showed up like a couple hours later, and I called Courtney because I was like, I'm new to the South Bay, so I'm in a perfect world. And what I visioned, my imagination was that I would be able to just really service the South Bay area. So I called her, I walked into the appointment, and we had such a good, me and the owner and her husband had such a good vibe. It happened to be that he went to USC, like we just had so much in common. And I was picking up things from their house and just kind of making those connections. And it went really well. They had met with another agent that morning that was a big South Bay agent. And so yeah, I'm bringing Courtney in, and we're gonna go back today and hopefully wrap it all up.
Good sign.
Yeah, but
Good
it
sign.
started with like that imagination of it, literally of me imagining myself walking into a house, sitting down with, you know, a couple
Yeah.
or whoever, and just, you know, signing the deal and selling it and moving on to the next project. And so I'm such a believer in like positivity and putting out there like your Instagram where you post all the positive inspirational quotes and all that. I started my own little like vision board Instagram. It's like my own little thing where it's photos of like me having children and me you know, moving into my dream house and just all the things I want in life. I kind of take that and I post and I make my own little things and the houses I want to sell. So I'm such a firm believer in seeing it before it happens. So that's how I used my imagination on Friday, and it's crazy how it like panned out the next day. So
That's
I think we
awesome.
need to like take the
Thanks for
time.
sharing.
Yeah, but to take the time and just like, you know, do that for ourselves. It's
That's it.
hard for us to be quiet and still. So
Yeah, you can just do it.
yeah.
Your baby
Great,
on
awesome.
Instagram is insane.
Oh, thank you.
Go get it signed.
Yeah, I'm pregnant with another baby, by the way.
Wow, congrats.
So I
She
envisioned
posted
that
the most
also.
beautiful Instagram. It was so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I find for myself finding the time to clear my head has been such a challenge over the last 18 months or so. And I've tried to meditate on and off, but I've discovered the Deepak Chopra site and have signed up for a lot of his meditation classes and sessions that he's leads. And it's enabled me, you know, we all have to find something to connect
Yeah.
with. And he resonates with me. And 15 minutes, 20 minutes twice a day with him, and you can do it on your phone. You just download the app, and whenever you have a minute, it's enabled me to open my mind and clear my head. And I always have been complaining previously, I don't have time to think anymore. I don't have time to just let things resonate and happen. But the meditation is so important for me that just this week I was meditating, and all of a sudden I lose sight of what I'm supposed to be, what I'm being told to concentrate on during the meditation, but all the answers start just like pop into my head that I want to pop out of the meditation to write down everything I'm trying to need to do.
Yeah.
Because the answers are there waiting.
That happens to me all the time too.
It's crazy.
You know, they're clear as like,
Boom.
I forget so many things now, clients, or get back to people because I'm super busy or whatever. And when I'm meditating, it's like, shit, I need to get back to that guy. I forgot to send the listing agreement to this guy to sign to. Like stuff like it's really important, he just pops in there.
The answers are there.
So do what she does. I mean, and I told you from the beginning, we don't do the same thing. If meditation is not your thing, try guided meditation. There is a lot of them. I mean, Deepak is amazing, and there is tons of guided meditations from different people. Just find someone that you like and put your headphones and just do it and see if it works for you. If not, try the next one, try the next one. For me, it was easier to visualize because I get super excited on me imagining being in places, having things or doing stuff. That gets me really excited, so that puts me in a vibration where the minute after I start doing it, I know that I have a smile on my face because I feel like I'm already there. So that to me is easier, but you all need to find your own thing. What is that gets you in that good place, and you will get answers for sure. You will get reminded. You will get those clear messages, and that's the whole point: is to quiet all those millions of thoughts that we have all the time, to be able to hear what we should be listening to, right? So let's go there's gotta be a point where you can find when they're all sleeping
We don't sleep.
or something. Maybe do it when we're there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say-
Try to do that.
I did with my 5, including the youngest at 7, we had a vision board session, and it was really cool.
Well,
for all
that's
of us.
why this is my 3rd or 4th year with Santiago, and I've learned something every year during this, because one year my son was sick, and I've done visionary boards with them, and it's really magical to give them the gift that you're giving us, and to now, I'm excited to get the secret for the teenagers, and, you know, it's great, thank you.
Of course, with pleasure. So, talking about vision boards, that's one of the exercises that we're gonna do. I highly encourage you that this is what you need, okay? You need a dozen of magazines of all types. You need a pair of scissors, and you need glue. I think we all can afford that, for now. So this is one is super fun. This was one of my favorite things to do because whether you like it or not, you're gonna get into that vibration. If you're looking at magazines with the stuff that you like, you're gonna be happy, trust me. So if you go and invest a little of your money and go pick up the best magazines with everything that you like. Cars, yachts, clothes, babies, families, food, whatever it is, right? There's magazines for everything. So go and buy those magazines, and why don't you take advantage that it's the weekend, right? And maybe tonight, tomorrow night, Sunday night, when it's quiet, or if you are with someone and they want to join you, or you're by yourself. I'm not inducing everybody to drink, but this is what I used to do. Pop a bottle of champagne and start cutting all those images that you want or you like, and then glue it in a vision board. And then finish it and hang it in a place where you're gonna see it all the time, next to your bed. So when you wake up every morning, it's there in your face. Or in the bathroom, there. Or in your office, there. So just go and do that this weekend. That'll be a super fun exercise, I think. I can see why, I cannot see a reason why someone wouldn't enjoy doing that. I mean, that's a super fun exercise. And I encourage you to do it this weekend because, you know, that's basically the end of this. That's the imagination itself, you know, you're imagining being there, you know. And then it doesn't have to be pictures of stuff only, you know, it got a lot of words, you know. If you see in a magazine that says happiness and you yearning for that, cut it and put it in the top of the thing. Love, relationship, family, whatever it is that is in there, words, pictures, cut them and put it together. What I used to do is, what I still do, I go to one of those cheap frame places and buy like a super inexpensive big frame and take whatever pictures in the back and glue it in the backboard and then put it so you actually can hang it and have it as a piece of art in your area where you're going to be looking at it. But it's very important that you look at it all the time. So your subconscious mind, when you go to sleep, has those images here. And when you're looking at them, when you're cutting them, and the reason why I said I used to do it with a bottle of champagne, because for me it's almost like a celebration, right? Oh my God, this is a great thing. And I'm already celebrating that that's on its way. It's real, it's happening, it's coming. All I have to do is sit down there, have faith, work my ass off, and wait that it's coming, right? So that's the homework for this weekend. Hopefully you all can find the time to do it. It'll take an hour, maybe 2 hours at most, maybe 3 hours if you're really enjoying it. And that's for today. You have any questions?
You can also get those digitally,
Yes.
so that when you open your
I have those.
screen, that's the first thing you see when you open your screen.
Yes.
You can put it on your iPads, on your phone, and it really just,
Yeah. Yeah, we do both
it's a
for
great
sure.
popper to start
Yeah, we
the
do
day.
both for sure. There was an app actually that was called Positive Affirmations. Let me see if I still have it. So you basically just open this app and it'll give you an affirmation for the day. I can't find it right now. I mean, look, if you go on the App Store and you just put whatever, it's going to be there already. So just put affirmations, and I'm sure that there's gonna be a ton of apps that they give you affirmations. So every time you're feeling a little off track, open it up. Oh, that's a great affirmation, and then put it down. The carrying the magazines is good because it's an action. You're actually doing something, so it's more. But I highly recommend doing what you said too. I have those digital frames, and then all you have to do is go online and save a bunch of images in a folder, and then just put it into the frame, which they're not expensive actually. They're all attached, who came to my 2 first classes here at the agency, gave me, and gratitude for the class, it was super nice, a frame that I still have it here, and it's been so bad that I haven't really filled it up. So that's what my job is going to be this weekend, to fill up that frame that Feroz gave me 2 years ago with images that I want in there. So I'll show it to you next week.
Oh, that's nice.
That I done it. So anything else? No? You're good? Looks like you're all gonna have a very quiet weekend. It seems like very quiet. What's going on? Let's put some music in this office. All right, guys.